All right, let's jump right into it today. We're talking all about Canadian immigration.
Sounds good.
And specifically, we're taking this deep dive into the IRCC account,
Yeah.
which is like this kind of your VIP ticket to applying for any Canadian visa.
Right.
We're looking at this awesome YouTube video called "This is Why You Need IRCC Account to Be Able to Move to Canada" from this channel called Tips and Gist. And I think this deep dive will be a great way to kind of figure out, why having your own IRCC account is so important, especially when you might be thinking about using an immigration agent and just letting them handle everything, which is something we want to talk about too, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize just how crucial that IRCC account is.
Right.
It's not just a formality, it's really your direct link to the whole Canadian immigration system.
Yeah, I've even heard people compare it to like a digital passport.
Oh, interesting.
Your key to kind of, unlocking that whole process. What do you think about that analogy?
I think that's actually a great analogy, Just like a passport is proof of who you are, the IRCC account is how you present yourself to the Canadian government.
Right.
You apply through there, you can track the progress of your application, you can respond to any questions they have, so you're in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. So maybe let's break this down for our listener.
Right.
First off, what even is an IRCC account? This video is very clear that, it's not optional.
Yeah, IRCC stands for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada.
Okay.
And it's basically your online registration with the Canadian government.
Okay.
And the important thing is you need it for any visa application. So whether you're visiting, studying, working, or even trying to become a permanent resident, you need this account.
Wow. Okay, so no matter what your Canadian dream is,
Exactly.
an IRCC account is the starting point.
It is. Canada wants to know who is coming in, right? And this account helps them do that electronically. So you upload all your information, all your documents, and that becomes their record of you in the system.
Yeah, and the video talks about these kind of unsettling stories of people getting to Canada, ready to start their new life,
Right.
and then suddenly realizing they can't even access their own IRCC account.
Yes.
Because an immigration agent was managing it for them.
Right.
Without permission.
Yes. Unfortunately, I've seen that happen too. And, while immigration agents can be helpful,
Right.
it's really important to remember that you are ultimately responsible for your application.
Yeah.
So having access to your own IRCC account allows you to make sure all the information is correct.
Right.
And honestly, it just gives you peace of mind.
Knowing that everything is legitimate and accurate.
Right.
It makes you wonder, though, why would an agent want to control a client's account?
Right.
You'd think transparency would be in everyone's best interest.
Yeah, you'd think so. But unfortunately, there are some bad actors out there. And that's where the video's warning about these visa before payment schemes comes in.
Okay, yeah.
These are really scary. Some agents, they take advantage of applicants by promising, a guaranteed visa if you just give us this big payment up front.
Right.
But then they often don't give the client access to their account.
Right, so they don't know what's going on.
Exactly. It creates this dependency and makes people feel powerless, like they're totally reliant on the agent. And that can be really dangerous because then they'll say, oh, we need these extra fees, or we're going to hold on to your passport.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll become unresponsive and you're stuck. It's awful. It really preys on people's hopes and dreams,
The video gives some really specific examples, and it's heartbreaking. Imagine handing over this huge sum of money, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we need registration fees. And then they take your passport.
Yeah, exactly. And then as the processing time drags on, which, by the way, is never guaranteed to be fast,
Right.
these unethical agents will demand even more money and say, oh, if you give us this, we can speed it up.
Wow.
And it puts people in this terrible position.
Yeah.
Pay up with no guarantee of a visa or lose all the money you've already invested.
Right.
It's really awful.
So what can our listener do to avoid falling into this trap? It's easy to think, oh, maybe just having an agent deal with it is easier.
Well, the best thing you can do is create and manage your own IRCC account.
Okay.
Yourself. Don't let anyone else do it for you.
So you create the account from the very beginning.
Yes, exactly. That gives you that direct access to the Canadian government, so you can check on everything yourself.
Yeah.
And it protects you from those who would try to take advantage of you.
That's so important. It's like that old saying, knowledge is power.
Right.
The more you understand the process,
Right.
the less likely you are to, be taken advantage of.
Exactly. And even if you do choose to work with an agent, make sure they're being completely transparent and that they're using your IRCC account.
And that you have access to it.
Yes. You should have full access to your account at all times.
Yeah.
Don't give up control of something so important.
Right. You're in charge of your own immigration destiny.
Exactly.
So just to recap, right, the IRCC account is like non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And we've started to uncover some of those potential problems with just relying on agents to, handle everything.
Right.
What's standing out to you so far as like the most important thing we've discussed?
For me, it's all about empowerment. Having your own IRCC account puts you in control. It lets you actually participate in the immigration process, not just sit back and watch.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a huge difference.
I love that. And, just imagine for our listener, you get to the Canadian border.
Yeah.
They ask you to access your IRCC account, and you're like, I don't have it.
Exactly. That's a recipe for disaster.
Not good. Not good.
And that's why that direct access is so important. We'll talk more about that.
Okay, yeah. In the next part.
Part 2.
Yeah.
All right.